want to show you here is how to navigate the Excel projects in the homework in the lab. So right now I'm in the assignments menu of the lab and I've clicked on do homework. And so down here I'm just going to use chapter 9 as an example. And so when I click in the homework assignment for this chapter, you can see this one has a Excel project as part of the assignment list. And you'll see these in not all, but almost all of the chapter homework assignments. So obviously you'd want to do the previous questions first before you do the Excel projects, but at some point when you get to the project, you click on the project and it's going to look just like this here in a second. And what it does is it brings up several different tabs or several different steps that we need to go through to complete the project through Excel and then submit it for grading. And the grading is auto grading, and I'll get back to that or touch on that again in just a second. So there's a few different ways you can view the material. So one is you can download the materials, and this is going to be the Excel template that you'll use here in the middle. There's an instructions page, and there's also a zip file that has both of the previous files included in it. So you can download all the files, or you can download just one or both of the instructions and Excel template separately if you'd like. Another way is you can use in step 2 here these preview steps link. So this is, again, these are the instructions for each cell in the template. So the same thing that you would have seen in the instructions in the download material item here, these instructions as well included there. And finally, you can also just see the instructions within the Excel file itself. So what I typically do is just download the Excel template, because again, the instructions are at the bottom of that page anyway, so I don't really need to download the zip file or the Word file that has the instructions in it. So I'm going to close that out, and I've downloaded the file. And so this is what it comes up with. So this is an Excel template that we will work the problems, save it to our computer, and then upload it for auto grading. All right, so at the bottom of the Excel file is what I want to show you, where it shows all of the step-by-step instructions as well for each cell that requires data to complete and submit for grading. So again, we can just download the template itself and work off of these instructions without having to download the other files, but either way, it's up to you how you prefer to do it. Some people might like to print out the Word document and have something that they can look at on their desk or by their computer while they're working through the template here. So either way is fine, of course. And with the Excel projects, these answer cells, so they're always highlighted in blue here, these are where you need to input the data for grading. These cells are to be completed with cell references. So you might have, for example, for dividend payment, you might have a formula that says equals, and then we take the par value and multiply times the dividend rate. So this is how it wants it to look. It wants it to be with cell references. So the E15 and E18 are cell references. So whereas it'd be tempting for some people to just simply type in equals 100 times 11 or 0.11. So this would give you the correct answer. However, it is not how the project wants it to be completed. Again, it wants the answers to use cell references. So we can see in the instructions, it always says using cell references in the step-by-step instructions. So that's one area that tends to cost people the most points, is just not using the references to cells. And with a lot of problems, we have data tables such as this up at the top, but we don't need to reference this data table because the relevant figures that we need for the project are already pasted down here for us. So typically we will just reference the figures within the question itself without having to reference the table at the top. So again, if we just work through with cell references, I mean, equals the par value times the annual dividend rate, and the proceeds from the sale, I'll say equals 101, and subtract the flotation costs, and then the cost of the preferred, I'm going to say equals, and the dividend payment divided by slash, And I actually paused for a second so I could complete the rest of the answer cells and move on to how we go ahead and save this and upload it for grading. So what I did is I used cell references as we're supposed to for stocks A, B, C, and E, but for stock D, I just used the actual figures instead of cell references. So for example, for flotation costs, I used 30 times 0.05 as opposed to referencing cell E41 and cell E43. Did the same thing with the other two cells, just so you can see how it looks when the auto grading system scores these as incorrect. So again, we need to use cell references for all the answers. And so what I'll do now is just go ahead and save this file and save it however you want, and save to your documents or to your desktop, whatever is easiest for you. Now once I've saved the file to my computer, I go ahead and upload it for grading. So if I come back to the original screen with all the various steps, I've already uploaded it just to save a little bit of time, but this box here, it says upload now, but it did say select file or choose file. So what I did is I clicked on this first when it said choose file. I found it on my computer and selected it. So now that my selected file is here in this list, and now this box changes to upload. So now that I've selected the file, I need to press this again to upload the file. Okay, so uploading is complete. Now all I need to do is submit for grading. Okay, and now the cool thing is that I don't need to wait. So I can go immediately out of this assignment, go into my results menu of the lab, and see how the grading worked out. So if I go to the Chapter 9 homework, I'm going to click Review. And you can see that it's given me partial credit, so I've earned 1.57 points out of 2 points. If I click on the problem again, this is instant. I don't need to wait any particular amount of time to review, and maybe if I need to submit a second attempt, then I can do that as well if I didn't get 100% on my first attempt. So you can see here the errors will be highlighted in red, and it tells you exactly which cell. And so I can download the submitted file if I need to as well. But if I click on the red drop-down arrow, it's going to tell me exactly what I didn't do correctly. So it says in the cell E44, the formula was not set to E41 times E43. So it's literally telling me exactly how the formula is supposed to be set to. And these, if you recall, this was the stock where I did not use cell references. The reason that I got these scored incorrectly again is because I didn't use cell references. So I can't stress that enough. This is an area where, at least in the beginning, most students lose the most amount of points just by not using cell references and just typing in the figures instead. So it's pretty simple. Once you do it once or twice, you'll get the hang of it. But one big takeaway again is once you submit the file, go into the results area of the lab and immediately take a look and see how it's scored and what was missed. That way you can take advantage of your second attempt if need be.